Good morning, Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing another video to you on a subject that's interesting to me. It might be of interest to you or someone you know, and I want to talk about how modern crime leaves no evidence. This changes the scene of law enforcement, actually, and prosecution, investigation. Modern crime leaves no evidence most of the time. It's true. No, okay, so some crime still does, of course. The ordinary crimes of, shoplifting and vandalism and, assault and battery, breaking and entering, of course, all these still leave quite a trail, don't they? But there is a whole universe of new crimes that has emerged in the wake of new technology, wireless technology, remote technology that leave no evidence. Anything that's remote and wireless, it opens the opportunity for remote involvement, remote control. And there's a lot of ways, not just over networks, but by way of influencing other people at a distance, if you know what I mean, whereby zero evidence by nature, by virtue of the design of it, is left for people to pick up on. Okay, so this changes something very important. When law enforcement argues, and if you ask them, they will tell you this, they will confirm that they can pursue nothing without probable cause. They've been trained and they know that there has to be some substantial thing to observe, to verify, to confirm before their involvement is proper. Not that it always requires that. Of course, they get involved all the time, but they're going to tell you this. In principle, there has to be evidence. Okay, so what happens when modern crime, by definition, leaves no evidence? Well, the sad truth is that conventional law enforcement has become obsolete. I'm going to say that twice. Because modern crime leaves no evidence, conventional law enforcement has become obsolete. And it began its obsolescence with the advent of wireless technology, if you ask me. And this has been around for a long time. It's been refined at this point. It's been developed, and systems and networks have emerged that make it extremely powerful, fast, and effective, efficient even, to influence people at a distance, to affect crimes through layers of complexity over great distances, and leave zero evidence. So, okay, what the point here? The point, I've drilled this into the ground, but what the point is that there has to be some new form of law enforcement at some point to address crimes, because you can still commit crimes. Just because there's no evidence doesn't mean that there hasn't been damage. Doesn't mean that there hasn't been a breach of contract. Doesn't mean that there hasn't been a violation of consent, where somebody has lost something important or has incurred personal property damage. These things still occur regardless of the ability to find evidence when it happens. So what is a practical solution? I'll get to the point. What is a practical solution to enforcing laws for crimes that leave no evidence? Okay, well, you have a danger here of turning everything into a witch hunt, first of all, because that was the substance of witch hunting back in the day in Salem, Massachusetts, for example, when there was no evidence, no proper trial, and people were presumed guilty before innocent. All that was needed to get a conviction of a witch, for example, was an absence of evidence. So there's a huge risk here, a huge logical problem when people are presumed guilty before innocent. So evidence still has to play some role. However, this is why we have courtrooms. Courtrooms cannot be dispensed with for a very good reason. No matter where humanity goes, no matter how developed we become, courtrooms are going to always serve a purpose, because there is a point in every single case where evidence is lacking in order to prove something conclusively. Conclusively is the word. So you have to go to court in almost every single case so that a judgment can be passed. Historically, that has been done by the judge, not surprisingly. In America, we have refined that system to include a jury for criminal trials. Most criminal trials have a jury if somebody doesn't take a deal. And this is supposed to be more fair, and it takes the balance of power off a single individual in the courtroom, which was historically abused and was corrupted. So we now have juries staffed by random selection. Okay, so I digress a little bit, but the point is that courtrooms themselves are for every eventuality, every criminal accusation that has been substantiated whereby evidence is lacking to make a conclusive conviction or determination. So you have to pass judgment. You have to examine the evidence. You have to hear the sides, do an investigation, and take a best guess. That's all a judgment is. It's a best guess, and that's why we have courtrooms. So how do you handle crime that leaves no evidence? The same way. There has to be some reasonable, probable cause, and that is, based partly on the reputation of those involved, the accuser's reputation, substantiating eyewitness testimony or, feelings. If there's nothing else, maybe you don't have a recording or a photograph or, any shred of actual evidence. But the popular opinion, and I hate to say it, it does count for something. It can't be the entire case. It can't just be all based on rumors or speculation. But my point is, even if there is no evidence, there may still be a crime. And once substantiated, once enough people corroborate it, it should go to court. At which point, all of the stories should be weighed in, and even if there's still no evidence, if it is apparent and believable to the judge or jury, what have you, that a crime has taken place, a conviction may be obtained, because that's no different than how we currently do it. We just happen to require some evidence. So I think there's a problem. There's a problem either way. Either you're skipping every single crime that leaves no footprint, which is not acceptable, that's not supportable, or you're risking a witch hunt when you're prosecuting without evidence. So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And if you ask me, it's worse to just patently and by design ignore every single case just because there happens to be no paper trail. Okay. People are getting hurt. And the new landscape of crime leaves no paper trail. It's very easy to do things nowadays and leave no footprint. We have to do something about it. So I say get some people who have good sense, good intuition to investigate, substantiate claims, interview people, and take it to court. Let the jury decide. Let a judge decide. Let all sides be heard, and evidence be damned. Get the conviction when necessary. That's my feeling. Reach out with questions or comments down below. Thank you.